Hi, it's Amy and Tim from Go With Less. We are in our hotel in Budapest, Hungary, our lobby.
Budapest.
Either is fine. And we're going to be talking about our trip in Poland, to Krakow, Poland, for this video.
Actually, doing like a summary of Poland.
Oh, like a summary, like the things that we learned and observations about Poland. So, just to start, I read that Poland, I read that Poland is the number 9th largest country in Europe, and it is just a little bit smaller than New Mexico, which I thought was pretty amazing. We ran into a ton of European tourists. So we saw tourists from all over the world. The vast majority were from Europe, and of those European travelers, there was kind of an interesting dynamic. We saw the most people that we saw from Europe were young men from England, Ireland, and Scotland. Not a lot of women, just a lot of young men. So it looked like a big bachelor party in Krakow, which was kind of an odd thing.
Yeah, Krakow has a little less than 700,000 people, and so it is a large-ish city, or a middle-sized city, but it was a fantastic thing. Amy said something interesting when we got there, actually even the day we got there. She said this may be her favorite city
of our
11 city visits. So, and I know this is city one, but she seems to be in tune with herself with these things, so this may be the case. It was a charming place to visit. Something else that we thought we'd point out is that it's spelled, or we would say it in the States like it's Krakow, because it ends in a W.
Not like Krakow.
But it's traditionally, it seems to be pronounced here Krakow.
The locals would say Krakow.
Yeah, and so just
but it's okay to say Krakow. They kind of use both as well, because anyone interfacing with tourists often says Krakow, even though local to local in Polish, you're saying Krakow. Speaking of Polish, holy moly is Polish hard. So we were on the airplane with some common words on one of our apps, and here I'm gonna have to pop up I think this is the craziest thing. So there's no way that if you don't know Polish, you aren't pronouncing the words by seeing them. You're not guessing any of these words by how they look. Like phonetically, out the window. Like there's many letters in there that don't sound like they're in there, and there's letters in the word that you don't hear. Crazy. So we learned the word. So what we learned in Krakow is that it's important to know the word thank you. So thank you covers a lot, and it seemed like the people spoke English heavily. Like we did not have a problem at all. So even if one person in a shop who was helping us didn't speak English, someone else did. No problem. And about that, we had our we learned the word thank you coming into town, and it's pronounced Dziękuję. And I'm going to put up a quick little thing of how Dziękuję is spelled. And what letter do you think Dziękuję starts with? It's a D. There you go. We also know the word lottie, which is ice cream, zloty, which is the money, and Kostrovia, I think, which is cheers, and I'm not even confident about that.
Yes.
But yeah. So you want to talk about the airport taxi coming in?
Yeah, so coming into the airport, we were hoping to take the train into town, so it was very inexpensive to take the train, the public transportation from the airport into the center of town. I think it was like $3 US, something like that. Cheap. And so, however, when we showed up at the train, we literally missed the train by seconds. And so we show up, and we weren't fast enough, and the train left without us. And so it was going to be another hour before.
Hour and 5 minutes, and we had already taken 3 flights. We had 0 minutes of sleep.
Our flight had been canceled the day before, so we had a crazy travel day.
But then we had 3 after the canceled flight. So we took 4 flights to get to Krakow. We had 0 minutes of sleep. We had been traveling for hours and hours and hours. So we decided. So some guy approached us.
Some stranger approached us and said,
"Hey,
you want to hop in my van?"
Yeah. And we were so tired. We said, "Please, let's hop in your strange person's van."
And so he said, "I got to go down. I'm going to collect up other people." So obviously
from the train station in our same boat.
Yeah, who were going to be sitting there for an hour. And so he found 3 or 4 more people. And how much was it? I forgot.
It was 40 zloty.
40 zloty.
Which would have been what? I'm in Hungarian money, so 40 zloty would have been about
$15 or so, I think, is what it was for the 2 of us to get to our hotel.
Yeah, so so cheap that it was like, oh, that was, I wouldn't even call it a worth it splurge. So it was less than like so he dropped us right off at the door as well. So and that's another thing. So we had an Airbnb on that experience, and the woman had several she had 25-star reviews, and when she sent me the address, it's an apartment, but it didn't have a buzzer number. I come from cities where you have to buzz in a number, but you might have a doorman, maybe you're the only apartment in the building, I don't know, maybe there's a sign. So she didn't tell tell us, here's what to do when you get here, because we don't have any cell phone coverage when we get there.
So we showed up at the address,
and
there's like 20 units. We don't know which unit is hers.
We have no idea, and we have no phone. So I'm standing in the streets, Marlena, like standing in the middle of the street because all the windows are open in June, screaming for Marlena. Every person who comes in or out of the building is a woman. Marlena? Whatever. So I ended up hustling over to a tavern down the block, got on their Wi-Fi, texted her, and she texted me right back of like what buzzer number she was, and no problem. But with that, and as a matter of fact, I started buzzing other numbers.
You emailed her, right? Not texted.
I did it via Airbnb.
Service.
No, okay. I did it on the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have texting unless. So I did it via Airbnb. But yeah. So let's see. This is one little quick note about soap in Airbnbs. If you're going to Airbnbs, they often don't have amenities. They don't have shampoo. They don't have conditioner, they don't have soap, they don't have body lotion, not like a hotel with amenities. If they do, that's just kind of like lucky and they're above and beyond, but often no soap. This one did, but we always need to remember to bring soap, but they didn't have, they had like a little leftover half bottle of shampoo from a hotel, and between the two of us, like we had 3 days of showers there.
I use the body wash for my hair.
He didn't know. He's
so.
like, look, there's all this shampoo. I'm like, that's
yeah.
not shampoo. So, okay, so what do we got going on? Oh, I also see in our travels, tours and things like that. And I see that there are offers of skip the line at the Hard Rock Cafe. And it turns out that there's Hard Rock Cafes in lots of cities. We saw one in Krakow.
Not on our radar.
We saw one here. Of course we're not going to Hard Rock Cafe. But what I want to tell you is that if you're somebody who wants to pay to skip the line at Hard Rock Cafe, I would love to find you an amazing local place that will be probably half the price and twice the deliciousness and 100% more of the authenticity of a Hard Rock Cafe. So hit me up and I'll give you a good, I'll find a place. I don't even need to have been in that city to find a better place than Hard Rock Cafe.
So I want to mention, while Amy was dealing with getting into our apartment, I was trying to find a cell phone service, and so I went to try and find a local SIM. So we didn't come over here with T-Mobile or somebody who provides coverage, and so every country we were going to go to, we were going to have to find a SIM. And so I did find a SIM card at a convenience store right down the street from our hotel. The problem is that, or our Airbnb, the problem is that they can't turn it on. So I got the SIM card in my phone. By the way, the SIM card cost $1.30, and I'll talk about what came with that. But it costs $1.30 to buy the SIM card, but you have to have it turned on. So my understanding,
with your passport registered.
Right. You have to have it registered. So this is an EU regulation.
And you can't register yourself, like some shopkeeper has to do it.
That's right. And so I think some shops you show up at, they know how to do it and they'll just do it for you. However, the convenience store I went to didn't. So I had a SIM card, and so but it didn't turn on until the following day. So the next day we went and actually found Orange is the service provider that I chose, or the SIM card that I chose. We found an Orange store. I went to the Orange store and it took us about an hour. We had to wait in line. I got it registered. Here's the cool thing. So that $1.30 gave me 100 gig of data for $1.30. So
for only 30 days, though.
Not for like
10
days.
years.
That's right.
It's
not
not
for
like
10
years of
but
data.
I have 100 gig of data on the SIM card, and
a good deal.
It was a great deal. So
Krakow was a good deal.
The problem is, and it's supposed to sort of work throughout the EU, but when we arrived in Hungary yesterday, it does not work in Hungary, so I had to buy another SIM card.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in Hungary. So we want to get to talking about, so Google Translate. We both went online and downloaded some things that we could use offline. So we downloaded Google Translate. We allowed our camera to be seen by that, so you can offline, because I don't have service unless I'm on Wi-Fi. So, but I can have my downloaded Polish and hold my camera over something that's written, and it will translate it into English. I can type it in if I needed to, and it would translate it into English, or vice versa. So that was really helpful. And also Maps. Google Maps is so helpful. And so we download the maps to use offline when we are home in the United States, so that we have those maps of the city on our phones. And it doesn't give you the same exact Google Maps flexibility that we like online. However, it's better than nothing, and it's great in a pinch. Now, a couple other small things specific to Krakow. Where we stayed, there were a lot of locals, but we were really close. Old Town Krakow is a really beautiful area and very touristy. And actually there was also a lot of families there. We arrived on a Sunday, the weather was beautiful, gazillion families walking around that looked like locals. But we were just a few minutes walk, and it was a neighborhood of like residents, so it was really nice. And in that area we didn't have many walk signs. As a matter of fact, I don't think we had any walk signs. Well, the thing with Krakow is that if you're kind of walking across the street, the cars should stop. So it's something that, like, so we had a little weirdness, like, are we supposed to stop? Are they waiting for us? We weren't, it wasn't quite clear. So, and if you do have walk signs.
And the people driving didn't make it any clearer. So
yeah,
sometimes they would stop for us, sometimes they would go.
Yeah.
It was a mixed bag.
So us not knowing made it a little confusing. When there are walk signs, we're told by locals that you should pay attention to them because you could be ticketed if you walk against the walk sign.
However, we saw virtually no police officers the entire time.
Virtually none. We saw, there was not a lot of police presence, is an understatement. As I mentioned earlier, English is extremely common, so we had no problem that we only spoke English. I would have liked to have more of the language. I think that's important. It just wasn't going to happen because it was really tough. And we also had seen in like YouTube videos and reading that the Polish people had kind of like a stone cold look, like they looked like harsh. We did not see that at all. So on the level of like 1 being very unfriendly to 10 being like effusively friendly, I'm talking like maybe 6. So they weren't like on either spectrum, but they leaned more toward very friendly. And of course, like a tour guide or things, I'm not talking about people who are giving us tours. They were very, very friendly. But I'm talking about like shopkeepers and things that were like that were not so much. We also found a lot of kind of quicker service food, so food was very, very affordable there, but sometimes we took 6 tours in Poland. We were only there in Krakow. We were only there because of our flight for 2.5 days. We took 6 tours. So we did 2 free walking tours. Each one was 2.5-ish hours. We took a paid food tour. Hopefully you saw the video we just posted with our food and vodka tour. That was amazing. Yeah. We took a tour of Auschwitz, which I'm not going to talk about in videos because I'm not sure what we're going to do with that because it was a very profound experience, and I don't know how we're just going to approach that in a video, if at all. But it's something that I think every single human should go and take a tour of Auschwitz.
Something we learned at Auschwitz is that, and we assume this is accurate, but we were told that all the children of Germany, all the children of Poland, all the children of Norway, it's required that they go to Auschwitz
like
as
high
a part
school
of their
children.
Schooling.
Yeah, so this is something they all come, and so, but like I said, we're not going to get into that experience, although it was incredibly moving, difficult, every emotion. If you have an opportunity, sad though it is, something to do and see in your life. And then we did a tour of they have this giant salt mines, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's something like 10 miles of salt underground, and salt was, they called it, I think it was white gold, we learned. So we were way underground, looking at these huge caverns they dug out of the salt, and like many floors high cathedrals in the salt. That was way cool. So it's something you'd have to see that to understand what the heck we're talking about, but seeing it, very interesting. Yeah, so that was, and then we did a tour of Oskar Schindler's factory, which was less about Oskar Schindler, a little bit about him, but a lot about Poland during the occupation by the Nazis. And another, so we did 6 tours. We walked our butts off. We stood, our legs were sore as could be every single day. So we crashed so hard at night. We walked maybe 8 to 10 miles a day. But the food was good. The people were, it was affordable. The weather was good. It was gorgeous. It was clean. It was safe. So we gave Krakow a really big thumbs up, and we are very excited to return.
Come back,
Yeah, we're really excited to return. So thanks for watching. This is a longer video. Appreciate if you give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like more, and next up is Budapest.